Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Baton Rouge's Live Music's LiveWire. I'd like to welcome you here tonight, and we're very fortunate because we have with us somebody who is kind of unique for this area because he's not only a manager, he's a promoter, he's a music publicist, he's a recording engineer. He's got experiences that, for the entertainment business, are not only significant, but educational for everybody. He's involved in a lot of different projects, from music in the schools to the development of a new documentary about the great Slim Harpo from right here in Baton Rouge. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to everybody to Mr. Johnny Palazzotto, affectionately known as Johnny P to everybody. How you doing, everybody?
Good, Bob. Thanks for having me, and I want to thank you for doing what you do for live music throughout Baton Rouge for many years.
Well, thank you.
You should be saluted every time you walk out the door.
Well, do you hear that, everyone? Okay, let's make a point of that for everyone. But aside from that, let's talk a little bit about who you are, Johnny, where you come. You come from here in Baton Rouge. I know that your past, you were in sports. You played quarterback for Baton Rouge High School, as a matter of fact.
I did.
That's right.
One other note that I need to make, Bob. Your dad and my dad were best buddies.
They were buddies. They used to run together. That's right.
They ran together for some time. I'll never forget Bobby Sanchez.
Yeah, well, he was a colorful character all himself.
So, telling you about myself, I grew up in Baton Rouge. My dad used to run the Auto Hotel, which is now the Shaw Center. He also had a bar called Shelby's that your dad and Bobby Clegg used to hang out in a lot. I grew up in Baton Rouge, went to Baton Rouge Junior High School, on to Baton Rouge High, played football there 3 years. I was Joe Womack's backup on the state championship team, but I did letter. I'm very proud to have done 7 or 8 shows in the Baton Rouge High Auditorium, 3 of them with Johnny Rivers. I've given the school the proceeds from those concerts, Dr. John and Deacon John, Jimmy Clanton,
Well, Jimmy Clanton and Johnny Rivers are both really Baton Rouge guys, even though Johnny Rivers started in New York, came down here. So, and a lot of luminaries that you have been involved with through the years. Now, shortly after getting out of school and all, you took off and went to California. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, actually, I was in LSU latter part of '66, '67, the beginning of '68, which was I was about to be drafted to go to Vietnam. Well, what I had done was in my first semester at LSU, the military used to be in the
ROTC
Union
area.
Theater, Union Theater, and they were signing people up. I got on the reserves, the Coast Guard reserves. Well, my name came up to go into the Coast Guard reserves in the middle of my 4th semester at LSU. So I dropped out of school, went in the Coast Guard for 6 months, came back out. I had a bad back, and I got out of the Coast Guard. Decided that I didn't want to be in Baton Rouge anymore and moved to Los Angeles. I flew to Los Angeles Christmas Eve of 1969 and was greeted at the airport, LAX, by Mike Cardelloni and Butch Hornsby, who were both working for Studio Instrument Rentals. And that's how I got my job as night manager there. And that job led to being hired by Spencer Davis and Jay Center, who was a producer. And the details of some of these stories are lengthy, and I think there's other stuff to cover in the conversation.
Oh, certainly. But so many of the things you've done, the situation you find yourself in, being a manager or night manager, in particular Studio Instrument Rentals in L.A., my goodness, you will be busy at night as well. Because the studios were just buzzing back then.
Yes.
I know before we came on air, we were talking about a story how you were able to introduce Cold Grits and Black Eyed Peas, Luther Kent and Duke Bardwell and all the rest of those folks, and to a gentleman that you worked with here in town, who was in, at the time, the group the Flying Burrito Brothers, because there was so much going on out there. Not to mention, in fact, Joe Maselli was working at A&M Studios at that time, who'd left John Fred and the Playboys here. So
Mr. Boy.
there were all kinds of things going on out there with some connections from here in Baton Rouge. And you didn't necessarily need entree from anyone. You worked your way right in.
Joe was in a band called Louisiana Boys with John Herring and Danny Cohen, who is now Casey Kelly.
Yeah.
One of the original Greek Fountains. Yeah, that was again a very a wonderful time. As I'm smiling big right now, I'm flashing back on Joe Boy and I got into a health kick and ate nothing but brown rice for 2 weeks. Just trying to be in some California deal.
Well, that's what California life was about back then.
It was.
When you were living in Laurel Canyon as well, right?
Not then.
Not then.
We moved into it's another story. We moved into a huge house in Van Nuys. No, it was North Hollywood. Van Nuys is parallel to North Hollywood. Owned by Drake Levin, who was one of the, he was in this band. He owned this house that we all moved into. It became a Louisiana compound. We had 3 girls from Louisiana living there. We had 4 guys, and other people in the business lived in the apartment and back, and one of them lived in the garage, and there was a workroom too. This is a huge house. Drake Levin, Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Okay.
Drake Levin's in Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Okay.
He owns this house that we're living in, and it was one event after another. This one might be a little horrible for some people, but one of the other guys that lived on the property was a roadie for, I can't remember the band, the name, but he was big time into LSD, and one episode of his LSD trips was he actually chained himself to the clothesline pole. Because he was so far gone on acid that he didn't want to wander off and not be
not be found.
And it was again just another one of the wild events in my days in Los Angeles.
Well, among the different musical luminaries that you worked with at the time while you were out there, before you came back here, talk a little about some of the people you came across, how you came across them.
Back here or in LA?
In LA.
Okay, so, well, when Danny Cohen and his wife were living in New York, and they moved to Los Angeles, and when he moved to LA, he knew that I had been working with Spencer Davis and Jay Center, and he wanted to make some inroads into Los Angeles. So he and I were making appointments with different management firms. And we made an appointment with Schiffman and Larson, who were at 8732 Sunset Boulevard, the 6th floor suite. And we got a meeting with them, and he was looking for a songwriting publishing deal, and I'm looking for a job. I'd been road manager for Spencer Davis for a little while, and so they hired me. Other artists at Schiffman and Larson at the time were Poco, Boz Skaggs, and the leftovers of the Iron Butterfly. So I got hired by the management company to get involved in their publishing company and pitching songs. I pitched Danny's songs. We got A Good Love is Like a Good Song, got recorded about 4 times from me sending it to other producers. Mike Nesmith of the Monkees recorded one of Danny's songs with a country rocker. What was his name? I'm blanking out on it. But I had opportunities and the learning experiences to succeed very quickly. I mean, Skeeter Davis recorded songs that I sent her. I was sending songs from L.A. to Nashville, and they were getting cut, and that was a little something different for
Well,
most
it
people.
also was typical for the time, but it actually kind of it shows your clout, so to speak, that was developing at the time.
I was totally unknown and green, although Irving Azoff was doing the same thing that I was doing at another agency down the road. And, you know, where he is today, I mean, he's
Right. Well, you still
multi-gazillionaire.
pitch the things that got taken.
Yeah. So, picking up on realizing that I needed to get out of Baton Rouge and get to L.A., where I could learn and experience stuff. Another thing that got me to go to Los Angeles was I was an extra in the film Beguiled, which was a Clint Eastwood film. And the wardrobe lady was Mae Mercer, who I didn't know anything about, but Mae Mercer, first of all, she was a very striking, good-looking black lady. And she and I were having conversations during the filming. I was an extra, and they ended up using me as a stand-in for lighting. And she suggested that I move to Los Angeles and become an actor because she thought I looked great on camera. She could see all that was going on. This is a wardrobe lady.
But they're in the mix.
She was a blues singer, and if you Google her today, stuff will pop up on her. So really, her suggestion of me moving to Los Angeles is what really started it.
Well, that's interesting.
I went and got the tape of Cold Grits before I left, by chance, you know. But it was not. I'm going into the business. I'm going to do this. It just kind of happened.
Well, it kind of happens and it rolls in because it's what you're intended to do. Now, you worked with other artists. Among people you worked with Kenny Loggins and Messina. Kenny Loggins and Jim Messina. Matter of fact, you were mentioned in his book. I believe you brought a copy with you.
Yeah.
And because you were the road manager for a while, right?
I was both the tour manager and the road manager because I worked for the management company.
Okay.
Initially, I worked for Shippen and Larson. Jimmy asked me to manage the tour, which again was one of the best things that's happened to me in the business. I mean, I got to be very close with Steve Popovich, who was the vice president of FM promotion at Columbia Records in New York, and my music pitching ability was enhanced by an office meeting in his office at like 11:30 at night after we had played. It might have even been when we played Carnegie Hall. I went up to his office, and Al Gallico was there, big time music publisher from Nashville, and he was looking for a song for Lynn Anderson. He needed a song for Lynn Anderson, but so she could have a hit, and I happened to be there, and they said, got any ideas for a song for Lynn Anderson? Yeah, listen to a country song by Loggins and Messina. He listened to it, and he went, well, definitely. He brought it to Glenn Sutton, and they recorded it and went to #1 for Lynn Anderson. Jimmy Messina did very well off of that song. Not to mention,
it seems like you're in the right place at the right time because maybe you have that inherent talent that was going to bring that out anyway.
I feel sort of special and enlightened in a non logical sense.
Well, the thing is, it worked. Now, you not only have done all these marvelous things through the years, but you're also a publisher. You have Ertis Publishing. Okay, so you not only can get the publishing and then go pitch songs to people. You have a recording studio, Main Street Studios, right here in Baton Rouge. You've done a number of albums. I think I have a copy of Susan Owen's album here, somewhere around the shop, as a matter of fact.
One of my favorite songs on that album. Other Woman's Blues.
Yeah. Okay, that was done at your place there, which is, I've been up in that studio. It's a very nice place. I like the loft kind of look you have in there, which is high ceilings, great sound in there.
19 foot ceilings.
Yeah.
I was going to tell you. Geez, I'm starting to show my age, slipping as much as I am. Where were we?
Well, talking about the recording studio, Main Street Studios.
Yeah. Main Street. We're not doing a lot of audio recording anymore. We've been doing video stuff. Actually, we've been doing shows in there. I did Zachary Richard and Deacon John together, Steve Riley and Shannon McNally together, Bill Davis of Dash Rip Rock and CC Adcock together, Henry Gray and Carol Fran.
Well, you have a whole, is it Rhythm Nation?
Yeah, Rhythm Nation is the television show that I've done.
Okay. And where can people get a chance to see some of that?
It ran on Cox 4 about 5 years ago, 14 shows.
Okay.
I mean, Irma Thomas, Jesse Winchester, Mose Allison, Terrence Simeon, Bonnie Bramlett, just on and on. Henry Butler. I was fortunate enough to know these people well enough to ask them to do these interviews. And actually, they were in conjunction with shows that I did with them. And I've asked the state of Louisiana on a number of times to take this opportunity of what I've done and use it for tourism and use it for publicity for the state of Louisiana and for the artists, because one of the other things that I think that's been missing in this state for many years is a theatrical booking agency that can be housed in this city so that the artist agencies commissions stay in this city and this state instead of being paid to companies in North Carolina and New York and Austin and Athens and wherever else some of these agents are located that book Tap and Y and
Right, they're taking some of our talent out of the state.
Yeah.
You hear that, guys? Heed these words. This is something that ought to be done, because this is something I think is very important for everyone to do. It's the wealth of talent we have here that is rare because it is so incredibly unique.
Exactly.
Now, you have worked with so many different people over the years, and right now we have the documentary for Slim Harpo coming out.
I'm so proud of this work. It's been in progress for 15 years. Not many people realize that in 1964, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, and Van Morrison all released their first albums. On each one of those brand new albums was a song written by Slim Harpo. The Rolling Stones, I'm a King Bee. Van Morrison, I Got Love If You Want It. The Kinks, Don't Start Crying Now. I might have that reversed.
Well, the King Bee, it's a very interesting story that's in the documentary, and if you'd like, you can catch a snippet of that if you go to Louisiana's, which is with Louisiana with an S, music.com. There's a snippet of that documentary out there where his wife tells the story about how they were driving along and the bees were in the road. And
the beehive on the
that's
boxes.
Right. And he wrote a song, "I'll be the king bee, you be my queen."
Yep.
And this is somebody who came from here, wrote these marvelous songs, an incredible blues player. And you have also, I believe, for you musicians out there, struck a deal for Slim Harpo's family with Gibson guitars. They're making a Slim Harpo model.
The ES-330, they brought it back.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful guitar.
Yep.
We raffled off 3 of them.
Yeah, but they brought it by here when the photographers came through, and they were doing some research, and they happened to stumble into this little humble abode, and we got to see the guitar, and it's marvelous, and it's something that if you're an aspiring blues guitarist or just any kind of guitarist, it's a marvelous instrument, and it's brought to you by this gentleman right here.
Yeah, well, Dustin Wainscott, who was working for Gibson at the time, had the took the initiative to contact me about the Slim Harpo Music Awards. He was a Slim Harpo fan, and he told me about his idea, and I knew who had the original guitar. The original is owned by Marcia Ball's bass player. Blanking out on his name. Lil Ray Neal owned it at one time. Rudy Richard owned it first after Slim. Slim died.
He played with Slim for a while.
Yeah. He was one of the original King Bees. So the guitar got taken to Memphis, Tennessee, and totally reworked, and all of the specifications and wood that was in the original guitar was duplicated. They only made 100 of the initial these guitars, and it is beautiful. It is beautiful and got a great sound. Too bad.
Well, on the subject of Slim Harpo, you also founded the Slim Harpo Awards.
Music Awards.
That's right, and there have been some greats in there, a number of names. If you, again, go into LouisianaMusic.com, you'll be able to run down and see some of the winners. Now, we've had lucky enough to have in our alumni here at Live Music's LiveWire 4 or 5 of the people that have received awards. And then they're all at different levels, whether you're an ambassador, a pioneer, or a legend. A number of those people have been here, from Henry Turner, Troy Turner, Teddy Johnson, Doug Brusso, all of whom have been in LiveWire. Gatemouth Brown used to come by here during his time when he'd come back to Baton Rouge. His wife lived here in town, and he'd come hang out in the back room and just tell stories. He was
got to tell you something. You mentioned Teddy, and I want people to know about Teddy Johnson. Teddy Johnson has probably the only original, other than Betona, Mississippi. Teddy Johnson's juke joint is the real deal. Morgan Freeman spent I don't know how many millions of dollars up in North Mississippi building a juke joint that's about as slick as you can get. If you want to see the real thing, go to Teddy's.
Teddy's, yeah. There's a feel to it that's unlike anything else. That's
when you walk in the door, the plywood floor moves beneath your feet.
And that's before anybody's playing music, okay?
That's before the drummer starts kicking.
Yeah. But that's wonderful. The Slim Harpo Awards have we now? You've had some people I know that you had Dr. John. He gave away some of the awards. Was he also a recipient himself?
Yes.
Okay, that's Dr. John, the Night Tripper. I mean, that's somebody who people all around this country and around the world would be familiar with. Not to mention some of those other names that we've mentioned here. Keith Richards was a recipient.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
He wrote us a very nice letter, and we also got a picture of Van Morrison holding his.
Yeah, Van Morrison, Jimmy Vaughn.
Jimmy Vaughn.
You know?
Jimmy Vaughn told us a story at the Slim Harpo Music Awards that blew us all away. Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimmy Vaughn's family lived in Baton Rouge in 1958. His daddy was an asbestos, worked in the asbestos field, putting asbestos in buildings. He lived in Baton Rouge for about, I think he said a year, just a little over a year. They moved to Lafayette. They worked in Lafayette, and then they moved North Louisiana to Springfield before they ended up in Waco or wherever in Texas they're from. But Jimmy told us his story, and we videotaped it.
Well, these are some things that are cataloged up, and they're worth you searching out. So everyone should go into PAL Productions. What an email address you have?
Louisiana's RhythmNation.com has got the list of the artists, and I think we've got a clip on there too, a video clip of some of the interviews from those shows.
Well, no, you have interviewed with John Fred. I've seen little clips for that. Who was had a hit with Judy in Disguise many years ago. You have, matter of fact, it's louisianasmusic.com. You'll see it right down here. We'll have it placed down here for you. And are there any other places we need to go?
Louisiana's Rhythm Nation.
louisianasrhythmnation.com as well.
Yes.
Okay, right down here.
I was just flashing back there, talking about interviews with John Fred. Just a couple of days ago, I remembered this. Dale Hawkins, who wrote Susie Q, and John Fred were at Main Street hanging out. And one of the first audio interviews I did was Dale Hawkins and John Fred sitting in the middle of the room telling stories. I didn't know that Stan Lewis's daughter, Stan Lewis, who ran the record store in Shreveport, the big record store in Shreveport, his daughter was Susie, and Dale Hawkins was her boyfriend, and that's how the song Susie Q got.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Simple stories, and they come from someone who's able to archive it for your enjoyment. Now, you have a future coming up here. I noticed on your website you have a group you're working with right now called Karma and the Killjoys.
Very, very exciting band. These girls just graduated from the LSU theater department, and they write great songs. They got 3 guys behind them that all graduated from LSU's music department. It's a theatrical rock and roll band. The songs are very new rock and roll-ish. I say it's 2022 rock and roll.
Okay.
2022 rock and roll. And we're getting tremendous acceptance and response to their shows. Unlike many other bands, the first show they ever did, and I'm talking about the first show they ever did, it's the Manship Theater.
Wow.
And they came within 20 seats of selling it out, just
kidding.
on the word of mouth of what and we've been working together for a little over 2 years now. COVID kind of put a
damper on everything.
Damper on us, but we ended up recording an album at Dockside in Lafayette.
Okay.
With Tony Daigle.
Tony Daigle, yeah.
As the engineer and producer. And we're really excited about the album. It should be out. We got 3 more songs to cut. We're going to replace 3 songs on the album that we've already done. So by early October, we should have the album out.
Okay.
They're playing a new festival in Lafayette on September the 3rd. They're playing live at 5 in Natchez, Mississippi on September 29th, and the Red River Revel in Shreveport on October the 1st.
Okay.
And there's other shows in the mix. There's a new music venue in Lake Charles called the Panorama Music Hall. And so they're doing shows.
Well, that's good, and it's theatrical and music. So you have
YouTube.
It's quite an entertainment
There's 2 songs,
combine.
2 video songs on YouTube.
Okay.
Karma and the Killjoys.
Karma, and that's with a K, K-A-R-M-A, and the Killjoys.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at them on the website, which is louisianasmusic.com, again, you see they're dressy, very cool looking. It looks like a very exciting show. So I'm actually going to check out those YouTube videos myself.
They just did the Visit Baton Rouge TV commercial.
Cool.
That was done at Chelsea's last week.
Okay.
And it's going to be it's going to make somebody out there go, you know what, I might want to visit Baton Rouge.
Well, that's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, what else is coming up for you? What's the next thing?
I don't think there is going to be any next thing.
Well,
I'm
now,
going to be
we've got
75 years old.
You got the film festivals coming up. That's going to be for the Slim Harpo documentary. And that's going to be, it's entered in film festivals around the country, right?
Yes. We're in New Orleans. We're entered in New Orleans now. We're going to enter in Chicago. You know, what's next? I can't envision anything next.
Well, yeah, but there's always something next. Because someone like yourself never slows down.
I got plenty. Yeah, well, you know, I would like to travel with the band some, not necessarily as their road manager, but travel with them some. Obviously, the film festival's going to be opportunities for me to sit and tell stories like I am with you right now.
Yeah. And some of the other ones that before we went on air, they were good too.
I'm looking forward to that. When you asked me what else is next, I've been suggested by lots of friends, some of them very close friends, that I should be writing a book.
Yeah.
And, I've for many years said to myself, who cares about reading what the shit I did, But some of the stories that I witnessed and I was at the Troubadour when John Lennon and Harry Nilsson got thrown out for being drunkard.
Well, again, these are the very stories. But look, I was telling you before we went on, they have a show out now. I forget what the movie site it's on, but they're about Laurel Canyon and the days of the Troubadour and the Whiskey a Go-Go and all those things were happening in L.A. at that time when you were living there. Yeah. There's a great deal of interest in it. There are a lot of people that like to know about this stuff. And a book by someone like yourself that not only can tell the stories but was there. This is not someone repeating stories. This is someone that's telling stories from a first-hand experience. And this is the very kind of thing that, book. If I can't convince him, all of y'all write to him. LouisianasMusic.com. You'll find the email address. Tell him to write the book. I think you'll all like it.
Where does your show air?
It shows on YouTube. And
you got a YouTube channel?
Yes, we do. It's right here. It's Baton Rouge's Live Music. That's Baton Rouge with an apostrophe S. Live Music. So, matter of fact, as we come into the end, this is where I'm going to tell people, please come and subscribe, because subscriptions help you find out what's coming next. We always try to have things for you like what you've had tonight with Mr. Palazzotto here, which is a wealth of knowledge, information, and stories that just make all of our lives better. So this is the kind of thing that is worth your while to come be a part of. So not only subscribe, but tell all your friends and tell everybody you know. And for your information, we have people in Florida, we have people in New York, we have people in Tennessee, and in California that do see the show. And so we're hoping to expand more.
Everybody that I'm in touch with is going to know about it because I'm going to tell them about it.
That's what I'm talking about right here. Yeah, that is something important. And I have enjoyed having you here and listening to the stories.
Bob, you and I have many miles.
That's right. We have. We know each other a long time.
We've covered some ground.
Yep.
This is a wonderful place that you have here. I mean, it's like if you're a musician in Baton Rouge at some point in time, you got to go to live music. You got to come through live music. It's impossible not to.
Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. And hopefully we'll be bringing everybody something different. That's what we try to do here. Not only be what was, but what will be to come. And with people like yourself bringing us up to date on the things that have been and can help show people where to go. In a positive way now, okay? Johnny, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in again next time. We're going to have some more entertainment for you. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to break the news on the book when it comes out. Johnny Palazzotto, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all for watching.
Thank you.